Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name is Amy. I am an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study. We are in the brand new book of the Bible. We are in 1 Samuel chapter 1. And we're going to read all of 1 Samuel chapter 1. So let's jump in. The birth of Samuel. So you don't even need to know who he is. There was a certain man from Ramathaim, a Zuphite, Zuphite, B, or Ramathaim, Zuphiim, from the hill country of Ephraim. So another one of Joseph's descendants, okay, whose name was Elkanah. Elkanah, that's how I'm going to say it. Elkanah, son of Jeroham, Jeroham, the son of Elihu, Elihu, the son of Tohu, Touh, the son of Zuph, Zuph, an Ephraimite. He had two wives. One was called Hannah, and the other Peninnah. Peninnah had children, but Hannah had none. Year after year, this man went up from his town to worship and sacrifice to the Lord Almighty at Shiloh. That's for the longest time before the temple was built in Jerusalem itself. The tabernacle, is the tent, was set up at Shiloh, where Hophni and Phinehas, the two sons of Eli, who were the priests of the Lord. Whenever the day came for Elkanah to sacrifice, he would give portions of the meat to his wife Peninnah and to all her sons and daughters. But to Hannah he gave a double portion, because he loved her, and the Lord had closed her womb. And because the Lord had closed her womb, her rival kept provoking her in order to irritate her. This went on year after year. Whenever Hannah went up to the house of the Lord, her rival provoked her until she wept and she would not eat. Elkanah, her husband, would say to her, "Hannah, why are you weeping? Why won't you eat? Why are you so downhearted? Don't I mean more to you than 10 sons?" Once they had finished eating and drinking in Shiloh, Hannah stood up. Now Eli, the priest, was sitting on the chair by the doorpost of the temple. That is the tabernacle. In bitterness of soul, Hannah wept much and prayed to the Lord. And she made a vow, saying, "O Lord Almighty, if you will only look upon your servant's misery and remember me, and not forget your servant, but give her a son, then I will give to the Lord all the days of his life, and no razor will ever be used on his head." As she kept praying to the Lord, Eli observed her mouth. Hannah was praying in her heart, and her lips were moving, but her voice was not heard. Eli thought she was drunk and said to her, "How long will you keep on getting drunk? Get rid of your wine." "Not so, my lord," Hannah replied. "I am a woman who is deeply troubled. I have not been drinking wine or beer. I was pouring out my soul to the Lord. Do not take your servant for a wicked woman. I have been praying here out my great anguish and grief." Eli answered, "Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant you what you have asked of him." And she said, "May your servant find favor in your eyes." And then she went away and ate something, and her face was no longer downcast. Early the next morning they arose and worshipped before the Lord, and then went back to their home in Ramah. Elkanah lay with Hannah his wife, and the Lord remembered her. So in the course of time Hannah conceived and gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel. Samuel sounds like the Hebrew for heard of God, like heard with your ear of God, because I asked the Lord for him, like God heard her. Hannah dedicates Samuel. When the man Elkanah went up with all of his family to offer the annual sacrifice to the Lord and to fulfill his vow, Hannah did not go, but she said to her husband, "After the boy is weaned, I will take him and present him before the Lord, and he will live there always." "Do what seems best to you," Elkanah, her husband, told her. "Stay here until you have weaned him. May the Lord make good his word." The Masoretic text, the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Septuagint, and the Sirach, your word, not his word. You have to make good on your word. So the woman stayed home and nursed her son until she had weaned him. After he was weaned, she took the boy with her, young as he was, along with a 3-year-old bull. See. Okay, some Dead Sea Scrolls, some Sirach, some Masoretic texts, 3 bulls. Well, instead of just a 3-year-old bull, 3 3-year-old bulls. An ephah of flour, that is probably about 3/5 of a bushel or 22 liters, and a skin of wine, and brought them to the house of the Lord at Shiloh. When they had slaughtered the bull, they had brought the boy to Eli, and she said to him, "Surely as you live, my lord, I am the woman who stood here praying beside you, praying to the Lord. I prayed for this child, and the Lord granted me what I asked for. So now I give him to the Lord. For his whole life he will be given over to the Lord." And he worshipped the Lord there. So she brought him at about 3 or 4, and gave him to the high priest to be raised in the priesthood, like a Levite. No razor touching the head, because that's part of a Nazarite vow. So he used to be raised as a Nazarite, is what she is saying. And that's what the sacrifice is for. And they know just how to handle that. So until the next video, friends.